Hi, I'm Tony Coccagna, and welcome to the Coach Joe Lombardi Show. I'm here with the IUP basketball coach. His team is 23-2 overall, 18-2 in the PSAC, and the West Division champs. Coach, have you ever won one of those before?
You know what? Each year is different, Tony. So each year's with a different group of guys. The uniqueness of that really keeps it fresh, and we've been fortunate to have success over the years. And they're all special in their own ways, okay? And because you take a bunch of guys on a roster and try to make them a team and try to make them to, brotherhood. And each team has different challenges during the course of the year. Sometimes it's your health, sometimes it's the other teams, the depth of the other teams in the conference. Some years are obviously better than others, the depth of the conference. And so, but this was a little more special, I think, than a lot of other ones because losing 4 starters from the year before and a pretty good role player in Marco. And then, so really didn't have as high of expectations when you're in that. So, but, and then losing Tommy early on in the season, all you do is we lost them against Bloom and we have Stroudsburg the next day and you just, we got to move on and get ready to play Stroudsburg and figure it out. And so for those guys, especially for Malik and Chucky, to lead like they have and to kind of bring the younger guys along, starting 2 sophomores and a freshman, and the new guys with Sean Dale and David, it's a tribute to them. We're not getting it done as a coaching staff. I'm not doing it, and the assistant coaches aren't doing it without their involvement and leadership.
Just for the record, it's 10 and 11 years PSAC West titles for you guys. You've said that it's harder to win the division than it is the conference tournament. Why is it so hard to win the division?
Well, you got to perform over 4 months. You got to perform over 4 months, and so anytime you take that lengthy of a time, it's more of a. I don't know if I said it's harder. I don't know if it's hard. I don't necessarily know if it's harder, but it's a truer indicator of being a champion. It's a truer indicator because champions need sustainability. They need to do it over a long haul. Okay, you get into a 1-week tournament and your best player has the flu or something. Okay, so now how does that really dictate how good of a team you are? And then you face a team that just plays over their head and makes 14 out of 24 threes on a given night. Okay, where they haven't done that all year long, and you just played the wrong team on that wrong night, and that happens sometimes. Sometimes we're that team, and we've played against other teams that have played exceedingly well, and we just a day later or a week later you're playing a different team. So nobody's the same every game out. So that's kind of how I feel, and sometimes it gets diminished, but for my guys to invest in that night in and night out over 4 months of games, not just 4 months of practice, but 4 months of games, to invest in that, and me stress the importance of it, then I also I feel obligated to stress the value of it or the importance of the success of doing it.
You said after you beat Seton Hill on Saturday, you said after that game, there's still some little things you need to work on. What needs work here for the last week of the regular season, then going into the postseason?
How long is this show, Tony? Okay.
As long as you want.
No, I mean, you could have a list of the things that you're grateful for, and I can give you. We could spend 10 minutes on all that of the stuff that I'm grateful for coaching this program, and then you can do a list of the things that you want to get better, and it's they're both long lists. They both take a lot of time to cover. I think areas that we're trying to get better at is we're trying to be more consistent rebounding team. We have some room to grow there. These are all just areas of room to grow. I don't know if we're bad at any of these, but we need to become better decision makers on when we get the ball in the painted area, in the lane area, better decision makers on when to try to score and when to find our teammates. We're working on that on offense. Our communication's gotten better. Our ability to, we're trying to always emphasize the ability to compete on every possession. You know, it's hard not to take a few possessions off, or, you know, say you're offensive rebounding and we want 4 guys to go try to run in there and chase it down. Well, sometimes you're a little bit tired and it looks like, oh, Malik's got a wide open shot. He's probably going to make that, and then you don't go in, and then there's a miss. So it's that ability to sustain your competitiveness and your offensive and defensive intensity over the course of time, and to play at that 2-12 level, which we call it, which is, you know, just all out.
I know you're not much for individual accomplishments, but last week Malik Miller had a triple-double, 17 points, 11 rebounds, 10 assists. It's certainly not easy to do because it's only been done 2 other times in school history. So how does Malik pull that off?
Yeah, that's pretty exceptional. We've had some guys in the past. I think a couple years ago, Dante needed 2 more assists or something.
2 rebounds. He mentioned that.
He needed it was 2 rebounds? Yeah. Well, blame his mom for not having the built to rebound the ball well, okay? So it's really unique, and I don't mind that individual accolade. That's an individual accolade that you know, I'll talk about all day long, because 10 assists means you're really sharing the ball and you're getting other shots, which your teammates like you when you do that, okay? And then 10 rebounds is you know, means you're playing hard and you're putting a lot of effort into it. And so, you know, it was nice we kind of knew it in the second half, and he was close, and it was good that it was nice that we had a big enough lead that we were able to put him in situations to kind of complete that. But, you know, I don't know if I've had a player that's in his 4 years has had to go through as much as Malik has worked his way through. You know, these guys young men aren't robots. They have lives outside of them, and sometimes the lives off the court can get complicated, like it does for a number of young people, and not just him, but he's had to weather a lot of those things, and you know, including last year, or was it 2 years ago? It runs together. 2 years ago, where you had the burns. Okay, you had to miss 4 or 5 games because of grease fire and burns, and that's just stuff that's on the surface. But there's other things down there that are complicated, and he's grown as a young man, and to be a respectful young, in my mind, Christian athlete.
Yeah, a very humble young man too. It's not like he was strutting around the other night after he did that. He's just very humble about it, and it's just part of his maturation process.
He didn't know that that wouldn't have been him 3 years ago. But he sees bigger pictures, and you know what? A lot of it goes in I was talking to Rob Zawi, who was an assistant here a few years ago and really guided Malik his first 2 years. Rob had just sent me a text saying, you know, I had applauded Rob for Malik wouldn't have made it without him the first 2 years, and you know, and Rob's comment back was with great humility, saying that Malik made him helped him become the coach that he is today. Okay, so as we face challenges and you know, with young men, and as they grow, and they're going to fail, and they're going to you know, create challenges along the way, but there's a lot of redemption out there, and when you're able to stay with people and not give up on them, and try to move them forward, and never have a finished product, but move them forward. That's what Rob did, and then he handed it off to Ronnie Fladella, who's done a wonderful job with him just academically and working with him in a lot of ways. And so that growth is attributed probably to the assistants that I've had on my staff the last few years, including Sam God this year, and Dante, who's helped out, you know, more than anything else.
I want to take you back in time for a little bit, just about a week and a half, but to the California game. Close game, coming down the stretch, about 4 minutes to go. You're coming out of a timeout, and you have a pick and pop called for Ethan Porterfield, freshman.
Okay.
and I think at that point, I think it might have been a one-possession game at that point. What's the process? What's the thought process there, and how do you come up with the play that you want to do coming out of a timeout?
Well,
you guys have been really good.
A lot of it is just there's a lot of variables involved. A lot of it is personnel and how's Armani playing, how's Malik playing. A lot of it is just a feel. Some of it's how's the defense playing too. Are they going to give this up or are they going to give that up? So just at that point, we tried to get a back door from Malik, and it kind of wasn't there. And then Armani, then we wanted to roll into something right off after that, and just so happened that it was going to be when an empty side of the floor. There was going to be a ball screen, Ethan ball screening for Armani then, and it wasn't necessarily like Armani, you got to throw it back. It's just a read, and Armani made the right read. Two guys kind of went with him and left Ethan open, and the players, I have confidence in Ethan. Players have confidence in Ethan, to be able to make big shots. He's got a slow heartbeat, very calm, I think. And whether he's shooting free throws or have to take shots late in game, it's no different. He doesn't always make them, but it's not because of the late game pressure that causes him to miss.
Yeah, and he did make it that night, and that was I think it made it a 2-possession game, and of course she went on to win the game. Clarion coming up on Wednesday on the road up at Clarion. They have a new facility up there. What do you have to do going into the Clarion game?
Well, they were real competitive against us here last time. It's senior night up there. That's their last regular season game. They haven't made the playoffs, so their season's done after our game because they have a bye the last scheduled dates of games. So that'll be, there'll be some extra juice, okay? They have their two best players are seniors, two leading scorers are seniors. There'll be some extra juice for those guys. I was really pleased with the way our guys played hard. Okay, we went into Seton Hill and it would have been kind of easy or almost normal for them to relax a little bit, not just be lazy, but not really play with great passion and focus. And they did that this past Saturday. So. Typically as a coach over the years, Clarion's another setup game. You got UPJ on Saturday, and so we've already beaten Clarion, and so for a lot of teams, the natural syndrome is to take them lightly. I got to fight that, but I have confidence kind of in our guys that they have a certain amount of maturity that they'll be excited to play and go up there on the road and compete. But I expect a good game from Clarion, so it's not going to be easy.
And then Saturday at home, last regular season game, it's going to be your senior night. You have Pitt Johnstown in town, Malik Miller, Chucky Humphreys, Tommy D. He's going to go through the ceremony too, the pregame?
No.
No, he's not?
No, we're not. Okay. We're not letting Tommy do that.
Okay, so just those two guys then?
Yeah, just those two.
So it's a bittersweet evening, isn't it?
Well, it's a bittersweet time of the year, especially if you've had a good year. You really, have grown to enjoy the guys. There's been a lot of high moments, and you can see. People say you see the light at the end of the tunnel, but you could see the end at the end of the track. The track's going to end one way or another eventually, whether it's 6, 9, whether it's 11 more games from now or 4 more games from now, okay? So it's been a joy and a pleasure to coach Malik and Chucky, and so that always, they're somewhat like, become sons to you too. So you're excited to honor them, but you're also a little bit melancholy, maybe that's the right word, to the fact that this is the end of it. So we have what's called Senior Week, Tony. We don't just give them Senior Night. We'll let them do some things in practice this week and interject some stuff, and then we take them out for a dinner, just the seniors. So it's neat in a lot of ways also. So, but we're just grateful, and we talked about Malik growing up earlier. Chucky is incredible young man, okay? I don't have enough time to go on and on about
him.
And
he's also been through some things in his time here.
Yeah, his father passed away last year. But he's grown to be, he's got a great personality and a tremendous amount of humility. It's never been about Chucky this year. It's always been about the team. You know, we try to have that as one of our pillars, and that and gratitude and a couple other ones. But Chucky's full of gratitude, and Chucky's full of humility, and those that have come across him have had the pleasure of coming across Chucky. And he really appreciates IUP. He really appreciates everyone that's come in contact with him at IUP that has poured into him at any point in campus, not just playing basketball, but you know, he has a gratitude for that. He knows IUP's made a difference in his life and helping him grow, and he's going to leave here a better man than I think than when he came in. But he's certainly, and I think he's allowed himself to grow because he's had an open heart himself, and has not thought about himself, and that is growth. The more you can think about others than yourself, the more humility you can have, the better you are positioned to have a productive and an enjoyable life.
Okay, Coach, we'll see you Wednesday up at Clarion, back here on Saturday for senior night, and then get together next week and talk about the postseason. Sound good?
Sounds great, Tony. Look forward to it.
Thank you for everyone for joining us.
Woo!